Welcome back to the Bio on the Bayou Bullpen KOL interviews. I am very excited to have Adam Koster of Interactome Bio. He's rejoining me again. We did this in Minneapolis, and now we're doing it in New Orleans.
Great to be back with
you. A
you.
little better food, a little better cocktails here.
That's the goal.
Less clean streets, so it's Walsh, right? But Adam, you're very familiar with this, so the first thing I want to ask you is to introduce yourself and a little bit about your background. Tell us who you are.
Of course. My name is Adam Koster. I am the CEO and co-founder of Interactome Biotherapeutics. I started at the bench training in neuroscience in Dr. Gary Dunbar's lab in northern Michigan, and originally was working on different kinds of stem cells, and that led me to extracellular vesicles, which is what the company is now focused on.
And so your company focuses on extracellular vesicles, but what does that mean? What are you currently doing with them?
Great question. So, the field has really honed in on drug delivery systems over the last decade, and most of that has been related to synthetic technologies, some plant-based technologies like lipid nanoparticle delivery systems. So EVs, or extracellular vesicles, are essentially the natural version of these nanoparticles that human cells produce and secrete into their native environment. So it's essentially how cells talk to each other.
And what does your company do with this? How are you leveraging this commercially?
Yeah, so we very fortunate to have collaborated with Henry Ford Health on the east side of the state of Michigan. Dr. Michael Chop, who's the chair of neuroscience there, has been working in this area for 20 years. So we have in-licensed a number of his assets in neurology and cardiology, and initially focused on nerve injury.
Interesting. And what kind of patients will that help?
Yeah, so again, like preliminarily, because these...
I know it's early, but like eventually, yeah.
Yeah, we're right now in IND enabling studies, so hoping to get in human very soon. I brought up the juxtaposition between lipid nanoparticle delivery systems and EVs because EVs are very much emerging. 10 years ago, there was some early pharma interest, but most of that focused in oncology and solid tumors, which are actually very difficult to treat with EVs because EVs have been shown to very quickly traffic to the lungs, the liver, the spleen, the medullary organs. But that's also where our immune system lives. So if your immune cells gobble up these...
So there could be a benefit.
Exactly, because these EVs carry a multitude of proteins and different nucleic acids, and they can change the function of different cells in your body if they're, essentially endocytized or gobbled up.
Are there any particular projects that you're working on to advance this right now you're exceptionally excited about?
Yeah, without a doubt. I think leveraging Dr. Chop's, 2 decades worth of work, he's been funded over $100 million from NIH, government grants and all the commercialization ladder that results. I think it's EV's emerging time is now coming. Nice. So we're, just excited to be one of the companies, raising the bar with the science amongst, a spin out of Mayo Clinic, and, many other companies, Israeli company going after spinal cord injury, brain diseases, CNS. So it's a very exciting time. And the science and the capabilities with contract manufacturers have now caught up to make these realizable therapeutics.
So there's a lot of focus on neurotech right now. I feel like the industry has really kind of re-embraced it in a way. And so I know you're aware, being a Bullpen member, that both the Bullpen and the Bio and the Bayou communities are really about helping other people. And the Bullpen's mantra is to find someone, help them, and repeat. But this is your opportunity during the KOL interview to make your ask of the community. So what can they do to help you, to help your science, to help your company move forward? What would your ask of them be?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think, again, because, EVs had so much excitement early on and that kind of plateaued, and now practical commercialization is here. It's really just awareness, right? So, again, there's a juxtaposition because if you look in the off-the-shelf world of stem cell therapies, EVs and exosomes have kind of had this gray area, right? If you jump on Joe Rogan's podcast, Andrew Huberman's talking about how they're one of the top options for anti-aging and longevity. But again, there's not a lot of human studies to substantiate that. So on the one hand, there's amazing science that's headed towards commercialization. On the other hand, there's this area of cosmetics and unproven methodologies. So we're keen to just raise awareness around the legitimate companies because there are many that are, pushing the envelope under the proper regulatory
So
framework.
share information on EV, basically share this KOL interview so people see it, get more exposure to what it is and potential solutions and how they can help people. Are you looking for funding right now as well?
So we have commercial sales in the cosmetic domain, and we're looking to continue to grow those sales. Currently working with some funding partners, but as we grow sales, we will be looking to take on investment.
Great. And what do you know what kind of levels you'll be looking at, or is that kind of down the line?
So we're raising probably roughly $5 million to fund our first in-human clinical trials.
Very nice. And I'll say, if you want to get exposure up, having been in New Orleans all last weekend when Taylor Swift was here, just get her to make a friendship bracelet that says EV. Taylor, if you're watching, EVs are very important. Please share with your fandom, who are lovely, by the way. They were some of the kindest visitors we've ever seen in this city. But, you get some T-Swift fans on this. That may solve your downtrend and spike you back up before where you ever were.
Are they poaching you for a career in marketing? Because I think,
They're not, but I'm here to I mean, I do oversee marketing communications as well as BD. So I'm a little bit of everything.
No, look, I've been hyper-focused here since 2008. Yeah. So, a lot of, I think, startup and people looking into being entrepreneurs, you have to stick with it, right? So for me, this has been an over 15-year journey. Our company's been at this for 5 years. And my journey has, been from the bench and then some commercial activity, and, then back to the regulatory framework. So I'm keen to just raise awareness around the companies looking to work with the FDA, engage with them early. There's the regenerative medicine advanced track and various pathways they've opened up, and we're taking full advantage of those opportunities.
That's fantastic. And I think the ability to engage with the Bullpen and the BAYOU community through the Gulf South is going to hopefully expand your opportunity for exposure.
Without a doubt.
Bring more attention to that. Any last thoughts you want to leave us with?
I need to experience New Orleans a little bit. It's my first time.
Oh, yeah.
I had a little late night last night, but hoping to get a
Frenchman Street, Snug Harbor, Spotted Cat. And if you don't have plans for after the reception tonight, my favorite restaurant is over in the Marigny. It's called the Franklin. They have amazing cocktails and really great food. And it's not a tourist place; it's a local place.
Great. I need to write this down. And it's Halloween, so not the worst.
Absolutely. I mean, you'll see costumes tonight.
Cool.
It's a couple week long experience for us here.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much,
Evan. Great to see you as always.
Likewise.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, James.